Hello everybody, this is Gareth Cahoon Speaks back here with another video. I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar and give me a thumbs up if you like the video and hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next post. Or otherwise you can look me up and donate to my ministry at garethcahoon3@gmail.com on PayPal. Similarly, Prime Minister Khaled al-Azam wrote in his memoir in 1973, "We made them leave Israel." The book was published after his death and includes the admission since 1948, "It is we who made them leave. We brought disaster upon Arab refugees by bringing pressure upon them to leave Israel. We have rendered them dispossessed. We have accustomed them to begging. We have participated in lowering their moral and social level. Then we exploited them in executing crimes of murder, arson, and throwing bombs upon men, women, and children. All of this in the service of political purposes." Abdul Rahman Azam, the first Secretary General of the Arab League, had high hopes that the Jewish aspirations for autonomous rule would be quashed by, and told a British reporter that he expected the land to be given not to the Palestinian Arabs, but to the Arab nations around it. Their plan was for Transjordan to swallow up the central hill regions of Palestine with access to the Mediterranean at Gaza, while the Egyptians would get the Negev. The Galilee would go to Syria, except the coastal part, as far as Acre, would be added to Lebanon. He said not even a whiff of a free Palestinian state then. Azam boasted that there would be a war of extermination and a monstrous massacre against the Jews that would be spoken of like the Mongolian massacres and the Crusades. Instead, the 1948 war resulted in the Nakba for the Palestinian Arabs. Many Arabs living in the land had little agency in the decisions that led to the war and ultimately suffered from the Arab League's determination to destroy the nascent state of Israel before it could fully emerge. Despite the overwhelming odds, however, Israel was victorious. Zurich's self-reflecting book suggests that the Arab defeat was due to a lack of preparation and an underestimation of the adversary. Perhaps he has a point, as Israel was not fighting alone. And for all his confident assertions, perhaps Azam would have benefited from reading the promises of Israel's restoration in the Bible to understand what they were up against, and also from the wisdom of Job, who acknowledged, "In the end, I know that you, God, can do all things and that no purpose of yours can be thwarted." Job 42 verse 2. And this is the shame and disgrace of what happened before 1948 and the uprun to it. The Palestinians, now called the Palestinians, they were never called Palestinians back then. In fact, there was no such thing as Palestinians. The Palestinians of today were actually from Saudi Arabia and not from the Gaza Strip or anywhere near it. But the Arab League told the so-called Palestinians living in Palestine, as it was known at that time, that they had to leave their homes, their businesses, their existence behind, and that once the war was won, they would be able to return to their homes and live in peace. The only thing was, that never happened. Israel was extremely proficient and won the war hands down against 5 Arab Muslim armies with the intent to slaughter every last woman, man and child of Jewish blood and origin. The only thing was, the Arab League lied. The Palestinians, so-called Palestinians, did not have to leave their land. In fact, 2 million of them stayed. 2 million of them stayed and were taken into Israel and treated like any other Israeli Jew. In fact, they've become doctors. There's even a Palestinian Arab sitting on Israel's Supreme Court. They have representation in the government. They have representation in jobs. They have schools. They practice their religion freely. There was no reason for them to leave in 1948. No reason at all. In fact, the Palestinians today, when asked, would they rather live in Israel or in Gaza or the Palestinian territories? And can you guess what they say? They say, no, we will stay in Israel. But then if you ask them another question, would they want Israel to be no more? And would they want to take over and kill all the Jews? They will say yes. You see, the Palestinians have cried Nakba, Nakba for many generations, but there was never such a thing as the Nakba. It was a creation of the Arab League and the Arab armies who had an evil intent to destroy the Jews and run them out of the nation that they were promised as an everlasting right by the God of all creation. This is the truth about the Nakba, and not many people know about it, but now you do, and now it implores you to share this news so that the lie of the Palestinian Nakba can be dispelled, and the Jews and the Palestinians can finally do what they were longing to do all along and live beside each other in peace. Shalom, Maranatha, and Hallelujah.